for being with us this morning. I want to thank all of the Office of Administration staff who put in the hard work necessary to make today's announcement possible. And Secretary Neil Weaver is joining me today for this important announcement. Thank you to our Commonwealth employees like Beth and Doris, who serve the good people of Pennsylvania day in and day out and just want a fair shot at opportunity. I'm honored to lead this team forward, and I hope that with today's announcement, we can make clear that the doors of opportunity here in Pennsylvania will be open for those who want to push them through. Throughout this campaign and in my inaugural address yesterday, I spoke about creating opportunity for all Pennsylvanians. I talked about building a Commonwealth where every Pennsylvanian can have the freedom to chart their own course and the opportunity to succeed here in our Commonwealth. In Pennsylvania, the people should decide what path is best for them, not have it decided by some arbitrary requirement or any arbitrary limitation. Listen, there are many different pathways to success, whether it's through on-the-job training, an apprenticeship, vocational education, or college. My view is if you're qualified for the job, then you should get the job here in Pennsylvania. Degree requirements that reward folks who pursue one of these paths while shutting out those who pursue others hurts us all. But when we open up the doors of opportunity to everyone, it strengthens our families, it strengthens our workforce, and it strengthens our economy. My administration is going to be focused on creating opportunity every single day, and that is why we are here today on our first full day in office. Today, on the first full day of my administration, I'm proud to sign an executive order announcing that effective immediately, 92% of all Commonwealth jobs, approximately 65,000 jobs here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, are open to Pennsylvanians regardless of whether they hold a college degree. 92% of Commonwealth jobs, roughly 65,000 jobs, are open to Pennsylvanians right now after I sign that order, whether they hold a college degree or not. I'm also instructing Secretary Weaver in the Office of Administration to emphasize skills and experience in all Commonwealth job postings, and I'm ordering a review of the remaining 8% of Commonwealth jobs that still require a four-year degree, many of which are statutorily required. In conjunction with this executive order, my administration is also launching a new initiative to encourage Pennsylvanians of all educational backgrounds to apply for work right here in this Commonwealth. Today, our administration launched a new website, employment.pa.gov, that allows Pennsylvanians to see nearly 550 positions that are currently open and now do not require a college degree. I encourage every Pennsylvanian who wants to get off the sidelines and get in the game to check it out. We want you on our team. This announcement today is just the first step my administration is taking to make clear that the doors of opportunity are open here in Pennsylvania. We're sending a clear message to our workers, whether you went to college or gained experience through work, through job training, or an apprenticeship. We value what you bring to the table, and we want you here. To our businesses, we can innovate and find new ways to recruit and train a talented workforce. I hope you will join us in this mission. We will have more announcements to make in the coming days, but the people of Pennsylvania should know I will continue to be focused on you. As I said yesterday, you will always be my North Star. We'll be focused on creating real opportunity, making real progress, and advancing the cause of real freedom. I'm proud that that work begins today. We're charting a new course, one that will include everyone in this economic growth that we will see here in Pennsylvania. And I encourage everyone who is interested in serving the good people of our Commonwealth to go on that website right away and apply and look out for opportunities to serve. And with that, I'd like to welcome Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis for some remarks.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you for taking this bold step to create ladders of opportunity, particularly for folks who are looking for an opportunity to work in state government. In Pennsylvania, our Commonwealth is one of the largest employers. I come from a lower middle class background, and I know directly what this will do for working class folks, to give them a chance to serve their community, but to join the middle class and to live the American dream. My office recently today announced the new appointment of a Board of Pardons Secretary in Shelley Watson. I'm thrilled that Shelley has been an employee for 25 years and somebody who has had the skills and experience, but not necessarily the college degree, for a big position in our administration, and I'm thrilled to give her that opportunity to lead here in Pennsylvania. You know, Pennsylvania government should be a place where every single person has the opportunity to serve and to succeed. This is a significant step in tearing down barriers for employment here in Pennsylvania. And to the governor, thank you, and we look forward to the diversification of our workforce that's going to come from this. It's my pleasure to introduce Acting Deputy Secretary of Administration, Beth Christian.
Good morning.
Morning.
As a longtime Commonwealth employee who does not have a four-year degree, Governor Shapiro and Lieutenant Governor Austin's signing of this executive order means so much to me, both personally and professionally. I had tears in my eyes when I heard then Governor-elect Shapiro's campaign promise to remove this requirement. My parents even called me so excited about that requirement, knowing that it had been a challenge in my life. I was raised on an active farm by parents who modeled the importance of working hard and doing work that matters. I did not have a great experience in high school, and I decided in my late teens, college just wasn't right for me. I loved the independence of working and doing work that matters and had an impact. But I didn't realize how that stigma would follow me through my career. When I started my first job in the Commonwealth as a clerical employee, I believed putting in long hours, taking on extra projects would make up for the lack of a degree on my resume. I worked twice as hard to prove myself. For each job or promotion, even though at times the fear of what others would think of me was paralyzing, and the feeling of unworthiness kept me from bravely taking new opportunities. While working my way up through the 9 positions I've held in the Commonwealth, I met a mentor who reminded me that my boots on the ground experience was worth just as much as a degree, if not more. And when the next opportunity presented itself, I said yes to the executive position I'm so honored to hold now. This executive order tells current Commonwealth employees and anyone looking to come to work in the state of Pennsylvania, we support you, with or without a degree. Thank you, Governor Shapiro and Lieutenant Governor Austin, for recognizing the importance of this topic and ensuring that removing barriers for state employment is a priority. I am so proud to be a part of your administration. And now, I'll turn it over to the Director of Administration for the Governor's Office and my friend, Doris Mayhew.
Good job.
Thank you, Beth, and good afternoon, everyone. So I love the idea of skills-based hiring. When I think about my own personal journey and career in state government, much of my success has been attributed to experiential learning, mentoring opportunities, and on-the-job training. I've worked for the Commonwealth in different capacities for many years. If you would have asked me 17 years ago, would I be the Director of Administration for the Governor's Office, I would have told you, no way. I recognized very early in my career that there are opportunities in state government, and that with hard work and the support of leaders and managers within organizations, that anything is possible. I don't want to understate the value of a college degree. Education is still very important. I went back to school years later and obtained my degrees. However, I do believe the 10 years I spent in the workforce prior to going to college provided me with a richer and more relevant experience. I truly believe the added confidence and work experience gained prepared me to do many jobs. I didn't necessarily have to go back to college after spending all those years in the workforce, but I did because 1, it was a personal goal of mine, and 2, a degree was needed as a minimum requirement for some higher level positions I was seeking. By shifting the Commonwealth's focus to experience and training and moving away from the degree requirement, where it makes sense to do so, it will level the playing field and provide more advancement opportunities for employees, currently and future, particularly Black and brown people who have traditionally been disadvantaged and overlooked because historically we have limited access and opportunities to pursue higher education. This executive order will begin to close the gap and make the Commonwealth a more diverse and equitable place to work. I truly feel honored to be a part of it, and I'm especially honored to see the Commonwealth from this new lens for the front lines as a current member of the governor's office. And now I will turn it back over to Governor Shapiro.
All right. I'm going to sign this, and then I'll be happy to take your questions. I've never done this. Hopefully I'll do it right. Awesome. By the way, I just want to note, they didn't think I could do this right. They put a sign here. How about that? It's our new general counsel right there. Jen, I think I can handle this. Yeah. I'm happy to take a few questions. And Neil Weaver, our secretary, is happy to answer some questions as well.
Governor Shapiro. Oh,
I didn't know, Manuel? You good? Okay. Go ahead.
sure, go ahead. Executive orders are something I think we all know have been a subject of discussion over the past few years. With the pledges yesterday to govern for everybody, have you gotten any read yet on a Republican reaction to this? And how would you hope they would react to this first executive order that you signed?
I've gotten a lot of positive feedback, but understand this is within the authority of the governor to sign that executive order. This is in no way to go around the legislature. In fact, one of the things I've directed our secretary to do is to analyze the other 8% of the jobs, some of which statutorily require a degree. And based on what we learn from that, I'll probably engage with the legislature to see if changes need to be made. But I've received a lot of positive feedback on this issue during my time speaking about it on the campaign from Republicans and Democrats alike. But this is no way to go around the legislature. We're looking forward to working with them, and I've had great conversations, especially with with President Pro Tem Ward and others, and I think we're going to get a lot done here together. Dennis?
65,000 jobs. So you're saying those 65,000 currently require a college degree, but now after that will not?
Right. So again, the 65,000 fluctuates every day a little bit here and there. But what happens right now, if you go on as a result of this executive order, you'll be able to filter the open positions, which is about 550 current positions that are open. I got that number correct. And it will ask you for your skills-based background first. We're prioritizing that. And so there's no longer this requirement that you have to have a degree to be considered. And one of the things that Secretary Weaver spoke about, and I've experienced anecdotally, is when folks were going on the system in the past and they saw a 4-year college degree for this particular job, it kind of shut them out. They didn't go forward in the process. This will encourage everyone to go forward in that process. I'm not trying to pick favorites here. I'm happy to answer all your questions. Go ahead.
As you look to implement,
I'll get better at this. Go ahead.
how will your administration make sure this is carried out in a way in that it won't discriminate against these people who don't have degrees? And I guess to give you an example, there's a candidate on paper who has a 4-year degree, and there's another candidate for that same job with no degree. How will your administration approach that to make sure the hiring process is fair and balanced?
Sure. Well, we're sending a clear message to start where the first thing you'll be putting there is your skills-based background as opposed to your education. We're flipping that to make clear that we are prioritizing it. And of course, I'm going to expect OA and through the secretary to report back to us at intervals to let us know how this is going, how we've opened up the doors of opportunity to folks who might not have otherwise had a shot in the past. And then I'll be reporting back to you the progress that we're making.
Governor, you had a couple people talk about the examples of where this might help some of the administrative settings, but what are some other jobs that weren't necessarily talked about here? Because there's a lot of jobs. I mean, you're talking thousands and thousands of jobs.
Right.
What are some jobs that you might not necessarily think of that require a college degree?
Let me ask you this.
On the college degree? So we're looking at psychiatrists, we're looking at certain counselors, doctors, those types of jobs. I mean, anywhere by, like the governor said, statute, but some of the jobs you'd think of, you know, psychiatrists, those types of things, so those professional jobs.
What were some jobs that, you know, just lost that college requirement that maybe we haven't talked about here?
Sure.
Oh, I misunderstood your question. I apologize, I misunderstood your question. Look, I mean, for example, we're hiring folks for IT. And a few days ago, if you wanted one of those IT jobs, it was sort of a priority in the application that you have a 4-year degree. Now, the first sort of question you'll answer, if you will, is what's your background? What's your skills? What's the work experience you had? Where did you maybe get a certificate? What's your other work experience? Did you go through an apprenticeship program? And so we're prioritizing that and opening up more doors of opportunity for, say, that IT job, for example. You all will be able to go on this website. It's active right now.
It is.
And you'll be able to filter out those 550 jobs and see what we're talking about. Yes.
Along with this measure, are you planning anything to promote CTE?
Yes. And that's something that Acting Secretary Walker and others are going to be working on together with Acting Secretary Mamine. We're going to have a joint working group of that made up of cabinet level officials to do that work. Charlie.
Just for some context, you say that 92% of all Commonwealth jobs would not have the requirement. My impression was, though, that before, really already a majority of Commonwealth jobs did not require a Commonwealth degree. Can you tell me where that level would have been? If it's 92% now, before this executive order, how many jobs did not require a college degree?
It's hard for me to have the sort of historical frame here. That's probably a question more for the prior administration, but I do want to say, the Wolf administration was very helpful to us during the transition in this process. I know that they had heard me talk about this a lot on the campaign, and some of the work began during that process, and then we worked in earnest with Secretary Weaver, with Deputy Chief of Staff Joe Lee, and others to help make sure we were in a position to be able to announce this today on day one. Mark?
Good morning. On a different topic?
I'm happy to answer different topics, but can we just see if there's anything else on this? I mean, I'm not sure I'm happy to answer different topics, but I will answer different topics, Mark. Yeah.
One more on this. Is it your belief that this will have more benefit to people trying to get into state government employment, or people trying to move up, better their station within state government?
I think both. I mean, I think you just heard the Lieutenant Governor speak about one of the most important hires that he'll make, the Secretary of the Board of Pardons. And he gave a woman an opportunity who has worked here, I think you said 25 years, to be able to, you know, move up into one of the most important roles in this Commonwealth. And she didn't have the educational background that, you know, would have been required before. We gave her a shot, and I think she'll do a great job for us. So, Charlie, I think it's both. I think it's folks who otherwise would have thought that they were not welcome to work here in the Commonwealth, who now know that they are, and people within our Commonwealth employ who are looking to move up. One of the biggest challenges I think we face, not just in government, but in business across the board, is we have a workforce shortage in this country, in this Commonwealth and in this country. It's not unique to Pennsylvania. We don't have enough teachers, or cops, firefighters. We don't have enough people who want to do the hard work in state government or be a home health care aide. And we've got to begin changing the way we think about filling those jobs. We got to begin to make sure people recognize that they're qualified for those jobs and that we want them to do that work. I was at an NGA meeting not too long ago where I was asked, what do you think is going to be the most critical challenge that you face? And I said, of course, I hate those questions where you have to choose one thing, but the one thing I chose was workforce issues. And actually a number of the incumbent governors, I was a governor-elect at the time, made the point of saying that that's the biggest challenge that they face in their state governments as well. So I think this is a way that we can begin to address that challenge, and hopefully the private sector will make some changes as well to do that. Any other questions before I come back to
Mark for the last one.
Mark?
Governor, as you know, upstairs we essentially have a non-functioning House of Representatives. Has that created any problems for you? Should people in the state be concerned about that? And is there anything you've done or plan to do to sort that out?
Look, the House will sort itself out. I've got a very strong relationship with Leader Cutler, Leader McClinton, Speaker Rozzi. They'll work through their issues, and I know they'll be prepared to receive my budget address on time and legislate on these important issues that we've been talking about, whether it's investing in our public schools or public safety, growing our economy. These are issues that I know Democrats and Republicans alike want to get to work on. I've heard from rank and file members and leaders in the House and the Senate as well, who have said, you know, I heard you speak about that issue on the campaign, or I heard you speak about that issue during the transition. I've got a bill to do that. Would you be willing to work with me? And the answer is yes. So I expect the House and the Senate to legislate effectively. We're going to work together. I'm anxious to get this building working again to create some positive change. Thank you all very much, and we'll
Take another off-topic question?
Sure.
Last one.
I'm wondering why, unlike previous governors, your administration is not making public the people who funded the transition and the inaugural celebration last night. I'm wondering what the thinking is behind that, and if you're open to changing course on that.
Well, first things first, and I think it needs to be said, no taxpayer dollars were used to fund the inaugural celebrations yesterday. That's very important. And second, we're going to follow all of the laws required with reporting and disclosure, and that's the approach that we're going to take. Thank you all very much. Appreciate you.